We've done a VAT overview. We've talked about when you should register for VAT. Now we're going to do a tutorial on how you'd practically do it on the HMRC website. Let's get cracking and show you how to do it. Welcome back to the Basics of Business channel, everybody. And in this video, we're going to go through a tutorial online of how you'd practically register for VAT in the UK. This is probably our fourth or fifth attempt this morning to try and do it. We've had an interesting morning. One of the businesses Neil's been involved in has been hacked. So there's been, if the phone goes off and interrupts us, don't worry about it. We'll cut stuff out and get back to it. But that's business, isn't it? You've got a plan for a morning and stuff happens and you just got to crack on and deal with it. But let's get back to VAT. Let's log on to HMRC and see how we'd register for VAT. So this is a business I'm involved in. So this is a live example. So we're talking exactly how it would happen. We'll talk about the specific circumstances, etc. So this is a real situation. And so we've logged on. We'll put the links for what we're talking about here, HMRC links, into the description so you can see them. And first page is just register for VAT.
Yeah, so I'm expecting that the actual registration is going to be relatively straightforward, but the bit that's the complication, and we're not going to go into all of the answers to that today. I think we may end up having to do other videos, but as we go through, there are certain decisions about the sort of VAT registration you want, or maybe that's not the right way to describe it, but you can register for cash accounting, annual accounting, flat rate schemes. They are supposedly simplifications for smaller businesses, but actually understanding how and why they simplify is not as simple.
Nothing about that is simple. We're going to try and make this as straightforward as possible, but it's a good example of nothing about VAT, unfortunately, is simple.
Yeah. So this is, if you go on to register for VAT on the government website, this is the page you come to, how to register for VAT. So as you can see, you register for it online. If you're a limited company, the information you need to be able to do that. If you're not a limited company, the information you need to be able to do that.
So what's the stuff we need? Let's just check I've got it all. Okay, let me go and make sure we've got it.
Okay, so we're going to register VAT online, start now. So the starting point is we need the businesses or the individual's government gateway.
Okay.
You happy that we're not making any false declarations?
Oh, I don't.
One fixed establishment in the UK.
Yep.
Are you a company, sole trader, partnership or other?
UK company.
We're not going for the agricultural flat rate scheme.
No.
Will the business do any of the following activities? Sell assets bought from outside the UK, claim a repayment of VAT under the 13th directive? I'm guessing no.
No.
Your own business.
Yep.
Why do you want to register? It's selling goods and services and needs or wants to charge VAT to customers. So this again is you need to because you've gone over the threshold, or you want to because you're voluntarily
So another one of our videos where you can, the question of when you can register for VAT. So we'll put a link to the screen, so I'll link up over here, I think, or over here, just to talk about that. But for this one, it's because the business has gone over.
Yeah, so the next question, has your business exceeded £85,000 in any 12 months?
And the timing of this will be 90,000 if you're doing this in a month's.
Yeah.
In a month's time.
When did the business go over the threshold?
January. And this is a point we'll just hopefully come to in the next screen in terms of timing and when you'd kick off.
Did the business get expensive to go over it in any 30-day period in the past?
Nope.
So you can have if you went over and then you can immediately drop back down, you can apply for an exception. The answer there is no. So you have to sign up for Making Tax Digital these days. So everything.
So that's something. So you used to be able to do it on a spreadsheet and then basically type it in manually onto the HMRC website where the various boxes, etc. for the values. Now you've got to do it through software. So if it's Xero, Sage, QuickBooks, you can only now file VAT returns through one of those pieces of software under this Making Tax Digital.
So with registration reason.
Oh. Okay.
But you can carry on because it's the address, isn't it? So you know the address.
That's correct. And obviously the more addresses you have here, the more tricky this will be. That's it.
So no different trading name, that's all fine.
So I mean, there's a good amount of information here to put in. So that .com, yeah. So the more you have it prepared and ready, the quicker this will be. Yes. Done. So email, yeah. So there you go, checking list. Activities, no. Yep, that's it. Okay, yep. 70229. So again, this is it. If you've done it, we'll put again a link here, as in whatever you submitted when you set up your company.
So have you been involved in any other VAT registered businesses? So then we go on to, will the business trade VAT taxable goods with countries outside the EU, outside the UK? Probably not.
No. So it is here, yeah. So no, so this, if that does apply to you, then you just obviously, and the complexity obviously increases with these things. No.
Bank account details.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is a pretty extensive So this was in timing wise. So there's a few points to make here, isn't it? In terms of if this company went over the 12 months. So it's a 12-month rolling. It's not within your tax year. It's a 12-month rolling.
Yeah.
As in, this company went over the threshold in January. So you then have a month, don't you? In terms of
so
the end of the following.
If
month.
you think you're going to hit, let's say, £90,000 turnover in a 12-month period, you need to keep a record. As you said, it's rolling 12 months, so it's not a static, my year ends December, so did I hit it? You need to have a rolling 12 months, and when you hit it, you have till the end of the following month. So if you hit it on the 2nd of January, you have to register by the 29th of February. If you hit it on the 31st of January, you'd have to register by the 29th of February. So that's why we told earlier on in the registration, you'll have seen, we said we went over the threshold in January. So it's defaulted to saying, right, you need 1st of March. I don't know why you can pick a different date unless voluntarily we were going to say we wanted it to be the 1st of February. Potentially you could be looking doing it 1st of January if you were going over the limit. You could voluntarily.
So all invoices after this date have to be plus VAT. And you raised the point a little bit earlier when we were talking before, sort of thinking through the video of the VAT. When the VAT number comes through, it could potentially make your life a bit more complicated as well, can't it?
Yeah, because we're going to send this now. And from the 1st of March, every invoice that gets sent out needs to account for VAT on it. But if you don't have a VAT number, your suppliers are not going to be comfortable because they can't recover the VAT that you're charging them because they haven't got a valid VAT invoice. And maybe that's a whole another video as well about what makes up a valid VAT invoice. So what happens whilst you're waiting? So if you didn't, if you're invoicing at the end of the month, so 31st March, there's a load of invoices to go out to customers, clients, and you haven't had the VAT number through yet. What do you do? Well, there is a process whereby if you're invoicing someone £100 plus VAT, you have to invoice them the 120. And then there's a wording that you have to put on the invoice that this includes VAT, VAT number applied for, a VAT only invoice will follow up.
And we'll put that text in the description just to let you know what it is. But it just, if HMRC take their time, it does make your life a bit.
Yeah, because you could end up being, I have had it where it's taken several months to get registered or at least to receive the VAT registration certificate. It just, because what it means is it gives your customers a reason to delay payment because they haven't actually got a VAT invoice and whatever. And not people being difficult, but as soon as anything doesn't follow the simple process, it's a reason for the computer.
And the irony to sort of going back to another one of it is we'll put a link up of when to register, given in hindsight, the way this business is set up and dealing predominantly with B2B, we should have registered this earlier, to save ourselves potential hassle like this we're talking about, but also because it's B2B, the sort of rule of thumb of just register from day one because you can then start to claim bits of VAT back. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's better the business having it than the taxpayer.
And one of, as you say, if you're buying a computer when you start up, you can get the VAT back straight away on that. And therefore, your mobile phone bill and things like that, even if you're just a one-person consultant, there will be certain bits of money that you'll be able to recover. And the fact that you're charging your customers VAT, they don't care because they're VAT registered and they're going to claim it back. So rule of thumb is if you are going to hit the threshold, you might as well register from day one. And even if you're not going to hit the threshold, there's an argument for saying, well, I'll register voluntarily anyway. So,
it just shows the basics how they apply in terms of you know what we're doing, etc. But there's just little things and reminders that you need to constantly remind yourself about, etc. To keep on top of it. It never doesn't apply.
And as we say, VAT is always, it's a very complicated thing. I mean, even to the extent where I just said, you're buying a computer, you want to claim the VAT back. But actually, when you file your first return, if you still have the asset, you can actually go back 4 years and claim the VAT back on all the assets you bought in the last 4 years, provided you're still using it and own it. And you can go back 6 months for services, provided they haven't been used up. So, for example, your mobile phone bill for the last 6 months, you can't claim that because you used the mobile phone service during that month and it's gone. But if your lawyer gave you some advice about setting up or your accountant gave you some advice about setting up, then you're still using that advice in your business. You can claim the VAT back on that service within 6 months prior to registering for VAT. So we'd be able to go back to whatever that is, the 1st of September 23 for services and go back to March 2020 for assets. So we've done the registration. So we're now going to do, when will the business do its returns? So here again, I was saying about the different things. Annual accounting is where you estimate how much VAT you're going to have every quarter. You make a payment and you fill in one VAT return a year to do a balancing up. With Making Tax Digital, you've got to put the information into Xero. You push a couple of buttons and it automatically files it all.
Yeah.
I can't really see that it does save you anything, so you may as well just do it the traditional standard.
But there's also a timing point, isn't it, in terms of trying to align the quarters with your, so look, the year end for this company is 31st of March, we registered 1st of March, we want to align those quarters with the year, so there's a 1 month anomaly,
let's see what happens when we click here. So it then asks you when do you want them to be. So we're going to say we want it to be March, June, things, so that it ties in with your year end. It makes your accounting a little bit easier for your...
And your account, if you've got an account, they'll thank you for that in terms of make their life easier.
Yeah, because otherwise there's an extra reconciliation.
And that means March, so that's 1st of Jan to 31st of March, then that's 1st of April to 30th of June.
Yeah, so you then have so that one you'll have till the 7th of May to complete the return, and the VAT, if you set it up to be paid by direct debit, the payment then goes out on the 10th of May.
Yeah.
If you don't have it as direct debit, you have to make the payment by the 7th of May.
Okay.
And then that June one will be 7th of August, 10th of August, September will be 7th of November, 10th of November, and so on. So save and continue that. So we've mentioned, so the flat rate scheme, you can have a flat rate scheme where by, provided your turnover is under £150,000, you can, instead of working out, well, I've charged 20%, so I've charged 10 people £1,000 of VAT, I've incurred some mobile phone bills, I can net that off and pay over the difference. You can just say, look, my business is pretty simple, and you can just say, right, I've charged you, got one invoice, it's £100 plus VAT's 120, and instead of working out how much input VAT, you just apply this flat percentage to your gross turnover to work out how much you owe. The highest percentage is 16.5%. 16.5% of £120 is £19.80. So you're pretty much paying all the VAT over. If you, as it says there, you can't claim VAT on the purchases unless it's for assets over £2,000. And it does depend on what your business is. And I've got it here. So you can see if you are a bookkeeper, it drops down to 14.5%, the assumption being that you will incur some additional VAT as opposed to a limited cost business.
So we were joking out. So the irony of it is supposed to be simpler, but as in, given the complexity of VAT, this would be, if you're going down a flat rate route, why you would not have an accountant or someone advising you on this. Just VAT is a minefield as itself. This is an easy example, and the irony of what's supposed to be the simpler scheme actually is quite a complicated decision.
Yeah, making sure, because you would want to pick something that has the lowest percentage here. So so just default pick, well, I'll just say it's not listed, I couldn't see it, and you'll get away with 12% instead of 16.5 or whatever. But obviously the penalties for choosing the wrong one and stuff. So you may feel comfortable. And as I say, if you are going to pick the limited cost one and you go for 16.5%, you're effectively not recovering any of your own VAT, any input VAT then. So you may as well go the standard rated, which, as I say,
with making
you've still got to put all your sales invoices on.
Yeah.
You've still got to put them onto Xero. It's good, as we've got enough videos out there telling you about financial controls, financial information. You should be putting all your costs in there so you can be tracking how you're doing. And once you've done that, it is just clicking a few buttons and the software submits the return for you. So I don't really see these days that you're saving yourself a lot of effort by going the flat rate. I don't know what the statistics are.
But if there's one of the ones that's down sort of 10 and 11%, you might think it's worth But as I
Yeah.
say, this isn't a one, as I say, we'll put a link to the other video of Junior, but this, given how complicated VAT is, get some, if you're thinking of flat rates versus that, get some advice.
Yeah, and it's saying here, do a back of a fag packet calculation to see whether you think you're going to be worse off or better off. So, do we want to go the flat rate scheme? I think we're going to say no.
Yeah.
You are able to change between the two. The flat rate scheme is actually, I think it says here, you apply for it. It's not guaranteed type of thing. But I think you can convert from one to the other depending on how circumstances change. So we're happy with that.
Yeah.
So we've now completed it, checked the answers. I don't think we need to, we're happy with everything that we've done. So we've confirm and submit. Application has been done. So within 40 days, well, that will be beyond the time that the next set of invoices are raised, presumably, or you wait until you get your VAT number to raise the invoices, but then you're damaging your own cash flow and stuff. And so,
So this example of, with hindsight, we should have, as a business that's predominantly doing B2B, registered early so that when the time came, this was dealt with, because the 40 days wouldn't have made a difference. So it just highlights, when it comes to the basics of business, of it's always good to be reminding yourself of them. You can't keep all this stuff in your head. It's just impossible from that point. It's not going to make a big difference, probably from a monetary point of view. However, it's always like, if there's a choice between the business having the money and HMRC having the money, my vote is always for the business to have the money. So this is a good example. One I'm involved in, should have known better in theory. So it just shows something to keep on top. Just keep on top, and particularly taking advice when you think you need it. You cannot know all these answers yourself.
correct, that's right.
There we go. So a pretty involved time-wise in terms of, I know we were scrabbling around, etc.
So we were saying about, so after you register, you'll get your VAT number and what you need to do. Accounting for VAT while you wait for your VAT number, we'll put this link on there, but this does show you how you can include it.
What did you think? It's a reasonable, as I say, if you want to make it quicker, have all your numbers, etc. ready. That will make it quick, but it's still, there's a good amount of information there to put in, so it's not going to be the work of a moment. And as I say, there's decisions along the way that you're going to need to take. So it's not going to be quick. No, it's not going to be 10 minutes.
No,
basically, to do this.
No, definitely.
So as ever, we hope this has been helpful in terms of practically showing you how you'd register for VAT in the UK through HMRC's scheme. Let us know in the comments in terms of anything particular around what we've covered. It'd be useful to do anything more, particularly around the standard rates and flat rates. As ever, we wish you every success with your business journey. Thanks for watching. Tap one of those boxes on the screen, and we'll hopefully see you in another video shortly.